Hello, my name is Mr. Intelligence. This is about Richard Dawkins, who happens to be the world's biggest failure. Dawkins will always be known as the man who failed to destroy Christianity. The ex-Christian went into battle in 2006 with the publication of his bestseller, The God Delusion. He put up a decent enough fight, but his eventual defeat was self-inflicted. Problem being that Richard Dawkins has no idea of what it means to be an atheist. I could accuse him of illiteracy and hypocrisy. But anyway, let's start off on a positive note. Dawkins has two great achievements to his name. He got Stephen Hawking, one of the fathers of the Big Bang Theory, to testify the God of the Old Testament is Yahweh, the God of war. Yes, Dawkins discovered a second God in the Bible. He found a God of war, also described as spaceman. This was the game changer. Stephen Hawking refused to believe the universe was created by a violent thug. Yahweh, the God of war, was buried in 167 BC and his place was given to Yahweh, the Creator God. A case of stolen identity, methinks. The second great achievement of Dawkins was to get his friend Dan Barker to re-examine the Gospels in the light of Yahweh, the God of war. Dan Barker, the ex-evangelist, reached the conclusion that Jesus of Nazareth and the God of war is the same person. This is where the concept of Yahweh 2.0 comes in. Yet another game changer which can be traced back to Richard Dawkins through Dan Barker. Yahweh 2.0 spells out the death of Christianity because the problem then is not that Christians are deluded. The problem is that they are illiterate. In this respect I am with Dawkins, Hawking and Barker, and I too say the God of the Bible is Yahweh, the God of war. We see the elephant in the room. This means the Creator was imposed on the psychotic delinquent. A bit like the Trinity being imposed on the irritating little man from Galilee. The first person to say that God did not create the universe was Aristotle, the biologist who lived 2,300 years ago. The last person was Stephen Hawking in 2010. The most important person to deny God the status of creator was Yahweh 2.0, and the person who suffered most for saying it was Anne Boleyn in 1536. Jesus of Nazareth said he was God. He did not say he was the creator. Creator transforms God from a man to an omnipresent spirit component of the Trinity Godhead. This is what treachery looks like. The person who overruled Yahweh 2.0 was the Pharisee called Saul of Tarsus. It took him 10 years to outfox God. Saul of Tarsus and his cronies rewrote the gospel to make it say creator. The grateful creationists promoted him to apostle and the Catholic Church was born. Yahweh 2.0 takes us back to the years between the crucifixion and Christianity. Dan Barker leant toward Yahweh 2.0 because he thought it was evidence that Jesus Christ was not a historical person but a literary invention. He was so very right. Richard Dawkins found Yahweh but gave up the initiative and the narrative to those colluding Christians who hate the idea that God is quite literally a man. Well, that's episode 1 done.